He took a sheet of paper out of a folder he was carrying, scanned it briefly, and addressed the men. "I'm Lieutenant Gray," he said, "and I need a volunteer." "I'll do it," said Halloran immediately, standing up. Everyone, including the lieutenant, seemed shocked. "Okay," he said. "Follow me." Halloran could feel relief descend on the room behind him as he departed. He followed Lieutenant Gray to his cube at the end of a passageway which contained 4 desks and a bulky black iron safe that looked like it would outlast the drab Squadron 17 headquarters by a century or so. He sat down and pointed at a chair for Halloran. "Do you know what a Zulu 5 Oscar is?" "Yes, sir," said Halloran. "A security drill. An unauthorized person tries to gain access to a submarine." "That's right. You ever stand topside watch?" "Yes, sir, on the Alabama, many times." "You were on the Alabama?" He started to ask the question that Halloran always got asked about his time on that boat, but stopped himself, afraid of looking impressed. "You ever let a Zulu 5 Oscar through?" "No, sir. I don't think anyone ever tried on my watch. They warned us about the drill, but they didn't seem to ever run them much." The lieutenant nodded. "Yeah, they stopped for a while. These drills led to a lot of bad feelings. But the general notion now is that topside security has gotten lax. Additionally, the current security situation merits it. We have to be more diligent than ever. Peace protesters and whatnot. Crazy people with Bibles and bottles of blood." "Yes, sir." Halloran had no idea what the lieutenant was talking about. "We've been running the drills with officers, but they haven't been getting through. I've tried a few myself. My theory is that the topside watches are just on better behavior in general when a strange officer comes around. And maybe officers are just bad liars." "That's certainly not it," said Lieutenant Gray. "So, you want to try it?" "Sir?" "Be a Zulu 5 Oscar. Bluff your way onto these boats." "Yes, sir, absolutely." The lieutenant again seemed befuddled by Halloran's enthusiasm. Perhaps it was a vestige of his own enlisted days, when every sailor learned at some point that Navy actually stood for Never Again Volunteer Yourself. "Okay," he said. "Here are the ground rules. Weapons not allowed, obviously. You can't use force or threats of force. You can pretend to be an officer. You can only use normal access points, the LETs and hatches. If you obtain any secret material or anything above secret, you've got to turn it in to the ship's duty officer. That, by the way, would be considered a very successful Zulu 5 Oscar." "Aye, sir." "Here's a box of fake badges," he said, reaching behind Halloran and tapping an old cardboard box. "All are obvious fakes. Pictures that aren't you, expired dates, etc. Anybody that lets you through with one of these is screwing up, which means you have done your job." "Aye, sir." "Here's your letter," he said, handing him a document on Squadron 17 letterhead, signed by the Commodore himself. It was headlined in caps, "Authorization to conduct security inspections." "Show this to the ship's duty officer when you find him, or he finds you. Anticipate him being very pissed off." "Aye, sir." "Then come back and report to me how it goes. Any questions?" "Yes, sir. What boats are in port right now?" The lieutenant thought it over. 3, I think. Henry M. Jackson, Kentucky, and the Maine in dry dock. Why?" "Just curious, sir," said Halloran. He wouldn't do the Maine until last. He wanted to get a feel for the job before he showed himself to his future shipmates. Depending on how things went on the other 2 boats, he might try to be especially effective on the Maine, or especially ineffective. He decided to start with the Henry M. Jackson. He'd lost a girlfriend once to a nuke from that boat, so it seemed like a logical place to start. The Delta Pier jutted into Puget Sound. There was no Alpha Pier or Bravo or Charlie at submarine base Bangor. The Delta Pier was so named because it was shaped like a triangle, the Greek letter delta, an equilateral triangle designed to hold a submarine on each side, plus one in the dry dock that penetrated the middle of the triangle. In the center of the structure rose squadron headquarters, and the whole thing